So you had a film role back in 2013. How did that come about, and how was the experience on set?
A friend of my girlfriend actually was in the movie just as an extra, and he sort of put my name forward and everything else. So I went and sort of tried out for the role and had wardrobe and stuff. So myself and Sawa, the Hulk Palele, Mr. UFC MMA fighter himself. Yeah, we were just the two bad guys, the two henchmen, so to speak, for the bad guys. So it was good. I've seen the movie and I'm not in it as much as I thought I was going to be, which is quite upsetting, but that's all right. I didn't have a speaking role or anything. But it was actually quite nice to just be on set and see how things are done. And, you know, much like we are now, we've got cameras, you've got people around, all that sort of stuff, and just be comfortable with just being yourself on camera sort of thing. So it was a nice eye-opener for myself, just watching people act and how they act off camera and on camera, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was a nice little learning experience and a nice little experience in itself. Okay.
On that point as well, would you do any more acting if given the chance, and is it something you consider after boxing?
Definitely. You look at someone like The Rock, for example, obviously that another one of my sort of idols or people you look up to, and he's just getting better as he gets older, which is great. So I would definitely not say no to any particular roles. I can't see myself in sort of some, you know, overacting role in terms of the speaking and all that sort of stuff. I can get in there and get amongst it and actual action and all that sort of stuff, which is good. But yeah, I'm not too keen on the actual learning the lines and trying to remember everything and all that sort of stuff. But it depends on how natural the role is. If it's something that's completely natural to me, I'm assuming I'll do quite well there.
So, what's the plan for Big Daddy in 2015? What are some of the things that you want to get done this year? I wrote some goals. Yeah, you write a New Year's resolution and all that sort of stuff. I remember back in February I wrote some goals, and one was to capture a world title, or at least a payday. You know, pay off my debts, all that sort of stuff. Get a nice new car, possibly a Harley, things like that. Just little things like that. But at this point in time, I don't know how many fights I will have this year. Probably 3. Yep.
The next one will be the WBA regular world title against Ruslan Shigaev. They're still in negotiations, unfortunately, so I'm not sure exactly where it's going to be and everything else. But hopefully it's a payday where it's going to be more than I've had so far, which is 25 grand. Yeah. So people think that I'm living the life and all this sort of stuff, but the most I've been paid for a fight is $25,000. So it's not really something that people sort of boast about. Hopefully this one will step up a little bit and I'll be able to live off this sort of money for a little bit. But it's a step closer to the big one, which is Castillo. So this year I'm hoping to obviously capture this title, become a legitimate world title holder. I want Wilder, Wilder, who's got the WBC title, and then obviously want Castillo. So those 3 fights would secure me as the best heavyweight that Australia's ever had, etc., etc. And hopefully be able to buy a house and be able to be comfortable in my life rather than sort of living fight to fight. You know.
You will, man, and we're all behind you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you get a lot of have a lot of companies, a lot of products that you endorse.
There's some that you'd like to name, or some that at the moment that you're partnered with, or?
Well, basically, I've got luckily Hatton Promotions over in UK. They've come on board and they've sort of given me a weekly wage, so to speak, and everything else. So lucky for that, I don't have to sort of work anymore or work as hard as I used to. I've got the clothing label by Knockout Clothing, and they're over in UK, but they ship worldwide, so luckily they've come on board with that. I have a friend from Perth who, his name is Matt, he's co-plastering.
Yep.
So he gives me a little sort of wage each week as well from his company, which is very thankful. You got Tattoo Nation, who does all the, at Wentworthville, does all the tattoos for me, so whenever I feel up to it and want to go through some pain, I can go out there and see the boys. I've just recently hooked up with GAST Nutrition, so GASSD Nutrition, so they give me my food every week, which is, it's really helped. I've come down from about 120 kilos to 117 at the moment, and I'm heading in the right direction, which is great. So all fresh food, beautiful food, and bulk nutrients, which give me all my supplements and all that sort of stuff. I've just come back from the Arnold Classic on the weekend, thanks to bulk nutrients. So yeah, it's awesome to sort of have these people on board and really sort of helping me out with everything.
Yeah, well, we're down to the last question, and what advice or what gem of knowledge would you give to young and up and coming boxers or
just in general to athletes, like you want to?
I was going to say, just in general, as people, I was looking at myself at 29 years old. I just broken up with my wife. Her and my kids moved to Perth, so here I was in Sydney all by myself, wondering what to do with myself. And I didn't want to look back and think, what if, you know? So that's when I started my fighting. So I started at 30 years old. Here I am, 35 years old, going for a world title. 5 years is a very short period of time, especially boxing. I've only been pro boxing for 3 years in total. So it's something that if you do really want to do it, you just got to knuckle down, and if you can believe it and want to sort of achieve it, you can. It's one of those things. There's going to be no excuses. If you don't want to do it, you'll make excuses not to do it, basically. So if there is something you want to do, just go and do it.
Excellent. Well, there you have it, Lucas Big Daddy Browne. I want to thank you and wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you very much
in your career and the upcoming fight.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.